What are the most important muscles for aesthetics for men according to biology? Hey everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And I'm going to jump into this and I'm going to kind of give really an objective answer. It's not going to be about opinion. It's going to be based upon data that we have and a little bit about human biology and kind of what the data shows, even going all the way back to classic aesthetics in ancient Greece, and understanding all this stuff with the golden mean and different shoulder ratios and things. What I'm going to say here, though, is that a lot of people will say, well, whatever is lacking. Well, no, you're talking about for competitive bodybuilding. You're talking about for competitive bodybuilding. I am talking about to the general public, to people who see you, particularly see you shirtless, see you with minimal clothes on, which muscles actually matter. And it's going to be anything that makes your shoulders look wide and gives you the V taper. And there's specific muscles involved. And I'm going to say primarily delts, upper chest, and then to some extent, obviously, lats. Okay, stuff you'll see me just training in here. Now, does a smaller waist matter? Yes, of course. Of course. Does having low body fat matter? Yes, of course. Does muscle balance matter? Yes, of course. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have overall development. But what I'm going to say is if a person is trying to get really aesthetic, a man, and I'll go into a little bit of why in a minute, if a man is trying to get aesthetic quickly, he's trying to do it as quickly as possible. He's not necessarily pursuing to be a fitness influencer or a model or to compete in bodybuilding, but he just wants to look really good as quickly as he can. The real tricks are to build those muscles and to get lean. That's it. That's where we put the focus. And I would say everything else can be a balanced program. You could literally put someone on a very basic routine that just builds all the muscles in their body with a few sets a week. I'd like to see some squats and deadlifts and things in there, of course. All right? Obviously, you want to do a little bit of curls and stuff. Don't neglect your arms. But, and as much as guys love arm training, and even I'm putting a ton of focus on arms these days because I know I need to bring mine up, they don't need to be the primary focus for that goal. And a lot of guys forget that. They're thinking biceps, biceps, biceps. And I'm not telling you bigger biceps won't help there, And again, I totally get that. Work your biceps if you want big biceps. Of course you should. But where I would put the focus, if you're trying to get that look as quickly as possible, diet down lean enough to see your abs, do a lot of incline work, a lot of pull-ups, and a lot of direct shoulder work. Okay, and particularly get that side head in. So you'll see me here doing upright rows, laterals, all that stuff. Okay. But you'll also see me doing a bunch of incline work, overhead pressing, again, making sure those front delts, upper chest, all of that get maximized, because that really is going to be the key. That is going to be the key. If you just build a little bit of muscle through your whole body, but you really push incline work, delt work, pull-ups so that you get a nice wide V taper, you're going to look good to the average person in a relatively short time period, right? You don't need a lot of muscle to pull that off. In fact, you need to be lean enough to have a six-pack. But again, push the incline bench. And in this case, you guys notice I do it with a barbell. I do dumbbells. I do flies for it, right? Overhead pressing, all those things. So what's the idea here? Some of it has to do with just the ability to look wide, to have a V-taper look, right? And a lot of that's going to obviously come from lats, but that's going to be a little more from the back. When you really start talking from the front, the lats don't matter as much, and here's why. Because, your arms are going to be down, well, to some extent. If you got big lats, they're not going to go all the way down. Mine don't. But look at the size of my lats. But if your lats are not that massive, people aren't going to notice that as much from the front. But they're going to notice the wide shoulders, and they're going to notice the full upper chest. Okay? And that's kind of, that upper chest is kind of the last thing that you do have to think about in regards to that, because having some separation in there and having a chest that doesn't look flat kind of finishes off that sort of look. The shoulders are really the key though. The wide shoulders, the wide delts, that is going to matter the most for that. But that upper chest is going to fill it out, because then if you don't have any chest, particularly like a really flat upper chest, it's not going to look the same. It's still not going to give that look. And definitely from the back, the lats and just being lean matter. But keeping in mind, you cannot have the best waist. I don't have a good waist genetically. Mine is fairly wide, and I've got a big pelvis and everything. But if you get your back wide enough up top, you can offset that. So some of it comes down to looking, though, at the ratios and the golden mean. So again, there's aesthetics is based upon math with the ancient Greeks. They figured this out. It's pleasing to the eye. But there's also biology, evolutionary biology involved. Okay, something that we know is that historically, and anthropologists figured this out, they've been like, man, why do males have so many androgen receptors in their upper chest and shoulders compared to the rest of their body? Those are the receptors that testosterone work on. Those are the receptors that anabolic steroids work on. By the way, they work through the same pathway. For those who don't understand that, they work through the exact same pathway in the muscles. The muscles themselves don't differentiate between those two things. Okay, other tissues in your body can, other enzymes, but your muscles themselves, they don't. They basically replicate all the benefits of testosterone for the muscles. That's why people take them. So that aside, why are they there? And they figured it out. It's because of long distance. From a distance, the thicker, wider, fuller shoulders made men look bigger and more intimidating from the silhouette. Keeping in mind, historically, that's beneficial for tribal purposes, scaring off rivals. Okay? It's about peacocking. That was our plumage. So if you look at that, it wasn't just about mate selection. It was about looking intimidating to other men, and the bigger, wider shoulders, because it's more prominent, all right, could scare off rivals, keep other rival tribes from trying to show up and steal your stuff or steal your women in the night or your resources. It's the intimidation factor. And the same thing as far as a lot of stuff going on for leadership and stuff within tribes. Okay, it was the same thing. It wasn't all about, people weren't fighting to the death for, that's not good for the tribe. It was the intimidation factor. He just looks bigger and stronger. And in our brains, we see that, and it's then the same thing for women. They would historically, this is a bigger, stronger male because of the shoulders. That's what they would see, because you can see it up top. They'd feel safer, more protected, more secure. Okay? Beneficial to mate selection, beneficial for leadership, beneficial for frightening off rivals without the need for violence. Okay? Kind of a big deal historically. So that's another part of it biologically. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.